has also approved of the practice of altar girls, a practice rampant in Vatican II churches. The practice of altar girls was condemned by Pope Benedict XIV, Pope St. Gelasius, and Pope Innocent IV. Pope Benedict XIV encyclical, July 26, 1755. Pope Gelasius, in his 9th letter to the bishops of Lucania, condemned the evil practice which had been introduced of women serving the priest at the celebration of Mass. Since this abuse had spread to the Greeks, Innocent IV strictly forbade it in his letter to the Bishop of Tusculum. Women should not dare to serve at the altar. They should be altogether refused this ministry. We too have forbidden this practice in the same words in our oft-repeated Constitution. Antipope John Paul II has praised the greatest enemies that the Catholic Church has ever known, such as the Protestant revolutionaries Calvin and Luther. On October 31, 1983, Antipope John Paul II, speaking of Martin Luther, stated, "Our world even today experiences his great impact on history." And on June 14, 1984, Antipope John Paul II praised Calvin as one who was trying to, quote, "make the Church more faithful to the will of the Lord." Pope Gregory XVI encyclical, May 8, 1844. But later, even more care was required when the Lutherans and Calvinists dared to oppose the changeless doctrine of the faith with an almost incredible variety of errors. They left no means untried to deceive the faithful with perverse explanations of the sacred books. Antipope John Paul II has also praised the notorious heretics Zwingli and Huss. He even went so far as to say that John Huss, who was condemned as a heretic by the Council of Constance, was a man of, quote, "infallible personal integrity." Antipope John Paul II has also condemned the Crusades. The Crusades were solemnly approved of by 4 councils and more than 10 popes, including Pope Urban II, Pope Callistus II, Pope Alexander III, Pope Callistus III, Pope Clement V, and others. In December of 1996, the Grand Orient Lodge of Italian Freemasonry offered Antipope John Paul II their greatest honor, the Order of Galilee, as an expression of thanks for the efforts that he has made in support of Freemasonic ideals. The representative of Italian Freemasonry noted that Antipope John Paul II merited the honor because he had promoted, quote, "the values of universal Freemasonry, fraternity, respect for the dignity of man, and the spirit of tolerance, central points of the life of true Masons." On October 24, 2001, Antipope John Paul II apologized to Red China. That's right, Antipope John Paul II apologized to the satanic communist regime in Red China for the supposed wrongs of Catholics. He even praised the social justice of Red China. Antipope John Paul II, October 24, 2001, quote, "The Catholic Church for her part regards with respect this impressive thrust and far-sighted planning. The Church has very much at heart the values and objectives which are of primary importance also to modern China: solidarity, peace, social justice." Social justice in China includes a one-child-per-family policy, which is imposed by forced abortion and contraception. The Chinese government slaughters millions of children every year, in addition to murdering, torturing, and imprisoning Catholics. Antipope John Paul II stated that the Catholic Church and China are 2 ancient institutions, quote, "not in opposition to one another." Antipope John Paul II has also stated numerous times that the theory of evolution is a fact. On October 22, 1996, he declared that evolution is, quote, "more than a mere hypothesis." In a series of speeches in the summer of 1999, reported in the official Vatican newspaper, Antipope John Paul II said that heaven, hell, and purgatory are not actual places. At the Assisi meeting of January 24, 2002, Antipope John Paul II issued a new 10 Commandments. He calls it, quote, "the Decalogue of Assisi." The word Decalogue means the 10 Commandments, So antipope John Paul II is saying that people need to proclaim his new 10 Commandments that he issued at Assisi. Antipope John Paul II, May 21, 2002. To help create a world of greater justice and solidarity, take to heart the need to promote the Decalogue of Assisi, proclaimed at the Day of Prayer for Peace last 24 January. Antipope John Paul II has changed the Rosary. In October 2002, Antipope John Paul II added 5 new mysteries to the Rosary, called the Mysteries of Light. In the document which promulgated the Mysteries of Light, Antipope John Paul II stated, quote, "Anyone who contemplates Christ through the various stages of his life cannot fail to perceive in him the truth about man. This is blasphemy and idolatry. When we contemplate the mysteries of Christ, we don't perceive in him the truth about man." Antipope John Paul II says this because he preaches that man is God. Antipope John Paul II, General Audience, February 22, 1984. So that consciences can be freed in the full truth of man, who is Christ. Antipope John Paul II, Homily, December 17, 1991. Dear brothers and sisters, look to Christ, the truth about man. Antipope John Paul II, Homily, December 10, 1989. Make straight the way of the Lord and of man. Antipope John Paul II, Homily, August 10, 1985. Today, in consecrating your cathedral, we ardently desire that it become a true temple of God and man. Antipope John Paul II, December 25, 1978. Christmas is the feast of man. Antipope John Paul II, December 25, 2001. Let us pause in adoration in the cave and gaze upon the newborn Redeemer. In him we can recognize the face of every little child who was born. Antipope John Paul II, December 25, 1985. What is grace? Grace is precisely the manifestation of God. Grace is God as our Father. It is the Son of God. It is the Holy Spirit. Grace is also man. Antipope John Paul II, March 31, 1991. Let respect for man be total. Every offense against the person is an offense against God. Antipope John Paul II, January 24, 2002. To offend against man is, most certainly, to offend against God. Antipope John Paul II, Homily, June 24, 1988. God wishes to encounter in man the whole of creation. This means that in man one can find the whole of creation. Antipope John Paul II, Redemptor Hominis, March 4, 1979. In reality, the name for that deep amazement at man's worth and dignity is the gospel. Galatians chapter 1, verse 8. But though we or an angel from heaven preach a gospel to you, besides that which we have preached to you, let him be anathema. Antipope John Paul II is anathema. He preaches a new gospel, not of Jesus Christ, but of man in the place of Christ, the gospel of Antichrist. Pope Pius X, E Supremi Apostolatus, October 4, 1903. The distinguishing mark of Antichrist. Man has with infinite temerity put himself in the place of God. In her appearance at La Salette, France, September 19, 1846, the Blessed Mother predicted, quote, Rome will lose the faith and become the seat of the Antichrist. The Church will be in eclipse. So the question that everyone professing to be Catholic must ask himself is this: is John Paul II the head of my church, or is Antipope John Paul II part of another religion? If Antipope John Paul II is part of another religion, and who would dare deny this, then he cannot be the head of the Catholic Church. St. Francis de Sales, Doctor of the Church. It would indeed be one of the strangest monsters that could be seen if the head of the Church were not of the Church. This is why Pope Paul IV solemnly taught in his February 15, 1559 bull, Cum ex apostolatus officio, that it is impossible for a heretic to be validly elected pope. Furthermore,